the bonus videos. So in the next 4 videos, we're going to cover a bunch more of the prototyping functions within Figma, and we're also going to cover some of the newest features that Figma has launched, including component variants, and also interactive components, which is super awesome. And like like all my videos that I have here, I've made a file for you. So if you go download the file, it should look something like this, where in each set of the prototype functions or features that we'll learn in this class, I have the top end is the example here. So this row here will cover the example of what we're going to learn, and it's prototyped, ready to go in case you get lost and you want to go see how I've done it. And then we'll do it together in the video here. So you'll see the example and you'll see the one that you do, and we'll do the one that says you do together. And we'll cover a whole suite of new prototype features, including some drop-down selections and modals, as well as menus. We'll look at building out some loading GIFs through using the Smart Animate prototype feature. We'll also do some horizontal swiping, some vertical swiping. We'll combine both of those to make a rich map swiping interaction. And we'll also cover some of the components and the variants and the interactive components, which are really fun and helpful to get into. Okay, so you should have this file. If not, go ahead and go download it. And remember, when you download it, you may see that it's a zip file. So if you see the zip at the end of the file format, just triple click on this file, double or triple click, and it will open up the file here. And go into that folder. And remember, you can't just triple click on this fig.fig file here. You actually have to go into Figma and go into your draft sections. Yours won't probably look like mine because I have a bunch of files here, but you'll go into your draft sections within your home tab in Figma, and you'll grab this file here, you can see here, and drag it into Figma. You know you've done it right when Figma gives you that blue outline, and then it will load the file, import the file, and you should see the new file here in your draft folder here. And once it concludes the loading, you'll press the done button, and you'll have this file here. I'm going to delete this one just so I don't have copies of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and kick off with the first video here. We're going to cover the dissolve prototype, the delay, and the move in and move out. So let's take a first look at the dissolve prototype here. So I'm going to press the play button up here in the top right. That's going to open up the prototype. And first thing you'll notice is that this is loading in an actual device. So I know I covered that in some of the past videos, but just to reiterate, if I click off of any of the artboards and I'm into the art space, just the gray area, and I'm not on the design tab, but I'm on the prototype tab, you'll see that I can select a device. Sometimes it will load as no device. And then you can select the model of the device. So I have here iPhone 11, and I have it at Space Gray. Yours should already have this loaded because I've embedded this into the file that you've downloaded. But just in case, you'll know how to change the devices. Okay, so let's go look at the dissolve function on the prototype. So pretty much we have a home screen. We press the view button, and you'll see this dissolve screen come in. And the dissolve just means it has a time delay for this screen to load. It's a very simple interaction, so let's go ahead and start by making sure that we're first in the prototype type here at the top right. So not the design tab, but the prototype tab. And let's drag this start button over to this screen. What this start button does is it means that this is going to be the first screen that the prototype's going to load from. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to press the View button here, and while we're in the Prototype tab, and drag the GUI arm right over to the next screen. And you'll see it's already set on tap and dissolve, but let's just first see how it looks with instant. Instant just going to mean it's going to have no time delay. And let's go ahead and play this. And if you press the view button, see how there was no delay there. So most commonly when you're in the prototype function and you click the arrow here and you get the interaction details dialog box here at the top right, it's going to default to on tap or on click and instant. And for this one, all we have to do is just press dissolve, and then it will give us some of the transition states, ease in, ease out. I also like to do both the ease in and the ease out. Either one's up to you. They're very nuanced. They don't have too much distinctions between the two, but ease out, ease in, it's up to you. The thing that does matter though here is the time delay. So let's go make this a really long delay. Let's say it's 5,000 milliseconds. And let's go look at that delay there. Should be real long. And you can see that's 5-second delay. So 5,000 milliseconds made for a really long delay. So that's a little bit too much of a dissolve or delay. Let's go back here. Let's change it back over to, let's just say 1,000. And we'll have a nice dissolve. Go back over to the prototype. I'm going to press R on my keyboard, and that's going to be the same thing as pressing the restart button at the bottom right. And that's going to restart the prototype back to wherever I put this little start label on. And again, you can just click and drag this to any of the artboards that you want. Press view, and that was a nice delay there. Okay, pretty cool. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Okay, so now the next interaction here on the prototype function is a delay. And this is usually a whole screen delay. And so there's some common things to avoid here, which I'll get into in a second. But all you got to do here to show the example is just go to the example here, move, drag and drop, or drag the start label onto this prototype. And let's press the play button. So I'm going to select this artboard here and press the play button, and you'll see it has a loader, and after a time delay it goes to the high page. So one more time, loading, and it says hi. So it's similar to a dissolve function. It's just that the whole page is set to a delay. So let's go ahead and quickly do it. It should be fairly simple. Let's drag the start over to the set of prototype screens here that are next to the undo. And this has no prototype function to it. So the thing to avoid here is if I click, say, this loading button. Actually, let's do the loader. So if I select this loading GIF, animated GIF, and I pull the GUI arm for the prototype to set to the next artboard, as so, and I click on tap, you'll see that this after delay function is disabled. It's a common thing to avoid. So to get a full screen to delay and move to another screen, you actually have to select the entire artboard or the entire screen. So what I'm going to do is undo this prototype function, and I'm going to select where it says iPhone 11 Pro. If I want to name this artboard here, I can just click into the layers, and let's call this loading page. Okay, so where it says loading page now, I'm going to click again, and now I have the whole artboard selected, meaning I have this whole frame. And I'm going to go back over to the prototype, and you can see the start here from the prototype on that screen, and I'm going to drag it to the high page here, and you'll see on tap, and if I click into the on tap drop down, you'll see the after delay has been enabled because we've selected the entire artboard. So let's go ahead and do after delay. And then right next to after delay we have the milliseconds for how long we want this to delay for. So let's go ahead and let's set it for 5,000 milliseconds, which will be 5 seconds. And then for the animation, we have different states. We can do an instant, which will just instantly load the page. And we have a dissolve, and we have move in, move out, which I'll show you in a bit. But let's just go to instant for now, keep it simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select the artboard here, loading page. I'm going to press the play button, and you'll see this page loading. And after 5 seconds, it loads the high page. So that's a delay function. So let's go back in, and if you see the interaction details here where the animation says instant, let's go ahead and apply that dissolve function that we learned in the last prototype that we did. And let's not do 1,000 milliseconds, let's maybe do 500. And so now you'll see the high screen here come in with a dissolve. It won't be an instant load. So 5 seconds will go by in the loading, and you'll see the dissolve. It was a pretty quick dissolve. We can have some fun with it. Let's go add a little bit more. Let's actually do, let's do 1,000. So it'll be about a 1 second dissolve. Go see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty good there. Okay, cool. If you're interested in any loading animated GIFs that you see here, you can go to a website, and I have the directions over to the left here. It's called loading.io. I'll go ahead and pull up a browser. And this just has free animated icons and animated GIFs. A lot of loading GIFs that you can download as a GIF and pop those right into Figma if you'd like. So let's say you're interested in this animation, but I want to change the color. Let's say I want to change this color to, just say a black here. I'm going to delete all the other ones here. And make a gray. Something like this. And I want to download it as a GIF. All I have to do is press the GIF, do a free download. You'll see it downloading in the top or the bottom left. So download Spinner 1S. And all I really have to do now is take this and drag it into Figma. Well, what I can do is, you see how it has a transparent, or it has a white background? I can set this GIF to a transparent background here, and now I can re-download it. And download that, and you'll see now when I download it in, it has a transparent background. And we could easily just place this loader and downsize it a little bit into this screen. And you'll see now we have the new loading GIF. 5 seconds go by, and voila, we have the high screen. Alright, pretty cool. Let's move on to the next one, which is open and close. And this is going to use a move up and move down interaction. So I'm going to grab the start over to the example here so we can see what we're going to do. This one's pretty simple again. All it is the screen next to it's going to slide up, and the X is going to slide back down. Very common for setting pages or anything that has a like cancel and a save button. This would just slide up, you'd have a cancel, you have a save, close back down. If you have more of a workflow, I'll show you how these work great as starter pages to kick off a workflow, and then you go through the workflow. We're going to learn that on the next video, so just hang tight. And to see this interaction and do it together, let's grab the start over to the page below where it says you do, and pretty simple here. Let's go ahead and grab the view button, go to the prototype tab, slide this over to the high screen. We want on tap, and on the animation we don't want instant, we don't want dissolve, we want move in. And then with move in, this allows us to move to the left, move to the right, move the screen down, and in this one we want it to move up. Okay, now let's go ahead and go over to the prototype, and let's look at that. Okay, see how it moved up, but it had a really slow transition. See how that moved? That looked a little too slow. It looks almost buggy. So we want to make this fast. So see where it says the ease in was still set at 1000 milliseconds? Let's do about 200 milliseconds there. And now that should load pretty fast. Yeah, there you go. That's what we want. But almost too fast for that one. Let's go do 300 milliseconds. Okay, and then let's go ahead and close this with the X. So if we grab the X on the next screen, drag it to the original black screen here. And a common mistake is that you leave it on move in. And you'll see what happens here. I'm going to do down, so it moves down. And what you're going to want to do is set this to move out. But let's go look at what it looks like and move in, because it's a very common mistake that happens. Okay, so we have the view. That looks great. It slides up pretty quick. That was a good speed for that transition. And now watch what happens when the X gets hit. See how the page, the black page, pushed the white page down. One more time. So see how the black page came from the top. That is an odd interaction for mobile devices. And what we want to do here, if I click on the X, is that is because it's saying move in. You're allowing the black screen to move in. And Figma gives you a little demo of what this will look like. So what we want to do is we want to have it move out. So it's telling the white screen to the right to sort of get out of the way, like move out of the way, and which way we want to define is on the right. So in this case, we want it to move down. Okay, this should work perfectly. So we press the view button, this page slides in, and watch when we do the X. It moves out of the way, and the screen behind it stays in its location versus coming in from the top there. Okay, cool. That covers pretty much the first video. And the next video, we're going to cover the overlays, the modals, and the menus. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.